Which protein pancake is the best? Hello, today we'll be talking about protein pancakes. Some of you might know that in my client diet plans, I do encourage them to eat a higher protein. It's not because protein is some magical thing that will suddenly make your muscles really big or make you really lean suddenly. The main thing about protein is not that you need a lot of it. A person exercising a lot doesn't need 10 times more protein than the couch potato. The main benefit of protein, if you have a fitness or weight loss goal, is that protein makes you feel fuller. And it's more likely that you'll stick to a diet plan, or it's less likely that you'll eat bad, unhealthy foods that are too high in calories or are full of unhealthy nutrients, because the protein makes you feel fuller. Over time, this increased fullness and increased adherence to a diet plan will give you better results. That's the reason I recommend protein pancakes over regular pancakes. Today's 4 contenders are the Myprotein Pancake Mix, Birch Blenders, and Biotech USA's Protein Gusto Pancake. Right? The final contender is just protein powder and flour, because that's what most of these pancakes are made of anyway. They have different types of flour and they have different types of protein powder, but that's basically the ingredients. So I've roughly matched the average calories, protein and carb content using flour and protein powder and made my own generic blend. Some of you may have tried protein powder alone making a pancake. The problem with that is that it's very easy to overcook it, it's very dry. So you gotta add some flour if you want it to be nice. Food tasting nice is also very important to sticking to a diet, which is very important for getting good long-term results. I couldn't find all the same flavor for everything, so there'll be different flavors. So it's not so much a taste test as it is a cooking and texture test, as well as we'll go through the different ingredients. I've normalized everything to 50 gram servings. I weighed everything out within 1 gram of 50, alright? So starting from this side, Protein Gusto is 197 calories, 26 grams of protein, 17 to 18 grams of carbs, and 3 grams of fat per 50 gram serving, which I've weighed out into a cup here. Okay, Birch Blenders is 180 calories, bit less protein at 16 grams, higher carb at 26, and lower fat at 1.5 grams. Myprotein is 190 calories, 22 grams of protein, 20 grams of carbs, and 2 grams of fat, weighed out over here. And finally, my own blend, which is 190 calories, 18 grams of protein, 24 carbs, and 1 gram of fat. Right, just for those of you with food intolerances, if you have bad digestion or certain types of carbohydrate or flour make you bloated, if you're gluten intolerant or have FODMAP problems, I'll just go through the different ingredients. For the Protein Gusto, the protein is whey and there's egg, but the flour is rice flour. So if you're gluten intolerant, this should be okay for you. Birch Blenders is also whey protein, but the flour is wheat flour. My blend is whey protein as well, and it's also wheat flour. And my protein is whey as well as milk proteins, and the flour is oat flour. The recipes for all of these are almost completely the same. For every 1 portion of the powder, you want to add about 3/4 portion of plain water. Yes, you could add egg whites, yes, you could add milk, but just for today's comparison, everybody gets water added to them. Now I'm going to cook them in a non-stick pan, no additional oil or anything which would affect maybe the taste or the caloric content. Okay, first up, Myprotein. Yeah, for protein pancakes you really don't want to overcook it, so I'm going to take it off now. Okay, so this is Myprotein, looking pretty nice. Let's see, we'll put it aside. Next up, Birch Blenders. Definitely a different consistency here. And the volume is completely different. Myprotein actually took a lot more of the flour, of the protein content to make it that 50 grams. So I don't know why that is. Maybe it's a different type of protein or the oat flour that they use. But this is Birch Blenders, same weight of flour. And it's a lot smaller. Okay, now Protein Gusto. Yeah, it looks like Myprotein is the one that really is the biggest pancake. The others are, even for the same weight of flour, they're a lot smaller. I've had these a few times. The chocolate is quite nice. Although, to be fair, they are a bit harder to cook because they do break apart more easily than the other pancakes, so you have to be a bit more careful when you're cooking them. Okay, Protein Gusto is done. Finally, my own blend. Let's see how this works. Definitely for the same amount of water, it's much more liquidy. So I don't know what the difference is. Maybe the flour is different. In terms of ease of cooking, this homemade one is pretty easy. It flips easily, it's pretty solid, it doesn't fall apart. Looks like we're done with the home one too. Alright, so here we have Protein Gusto and what it looks like at the end. Birch Blenders, homemade, and Myprotein. Here we go. I've never actually had all four at the same time because normally I buy one pack and I finish it and then next one and next one, right? But I just happened to have all these together at the same time, so I decided to do this review. Let's try them one by one and see how they taste. Myprotein. Definitely dry. It's a really dry pancake. Probably because the protein content is quite high. You see this? It isn't even overcooked. It's really actually very gently cooked. So even like this, it's very dry. You gotta have something liquidy as a topping like the low-calorie maple syrup or maybe honey. But nothing like if you add peanut butter or PB Fit to this, it's gonna be really dry. You could do what I do with this when it's very dry. I put some pasta sauce with meat and cheese and it becomes like a wrap. Okay, so Myprotein, I would say that if you think of it more like a wrap or a piece of bread, not a pancake, because it's definitely not fluffy like a pancake should be. Let's try the homemade one. Way more moist, right? Way more moist. Considering the Myprotein, I had to put even more water to get it to the right consistency to cook. The homemade one is pretty delicious. Completely different from when you just use protein powder. You add some flour to it. Most of you can allow some carbohydrates in your diet. This is only like 20 grams of carbs. It's totally worth it for the taste, okay? This could go with anything. You could go dry with meats as a wrap, or you could go moist with maple syrup, or you could just do with dry toppings like maybe something like peanut butter. Okay, this will be fine. Actually, it's quite nice. Moving on to Birch Blenders. Birch Blenders actually tend to probably burn the easiest. I don't know why. It seemed like I did every pancake for the same time cooking, but Birch Blenders seem to burn the easiest. But it also feels very moist compared to the Myprotein. And even if it looks a little bit burnt, it's very moist. So I'm saying this actually tastes a lot like a real pancake. These two are actually similar in terms of the texture and the moistness that it managed to retain. Finally, Protein Gusto. Right, this one. Moistness and texture is somewhere in between the very dry Myprotein one and also the Birch Blenders. So I would say it's a mix of both. Right, so this one is a very strong chocolate flavor in the chocolate flavored version, but I don't think it'll make a difference what flavor you use for the moistness and the texture. So in terms of actually nutrition content, if you want the highest protein, I do believe it's the Protein Gusto. Definitely for equal weight, the Birch Blenders and the homemade one have lower by a few grams protein content. But I think that makes them more delicious because the protein powder, like we all know, when you just make pancakes with it, it's really dry and yucky, right? So actually, if you're really going for the highest protein, I would say don't. Have a delicious pancake. One of these two, make it yourself, or Birch Blenders. They're moist, they're delicious. For the extra protein, just eat an extra 2 egg whites or an egg or another 30 grams of chicken. You'd cover that protein requirement, the difference in protein between, let's say, the high protein ones and the regular protein ones. But the deliciousness of this, I believe that if I or a client were to eat the moist pancakes, either make it yourself or the Birch Blenders, you would find that you would be able to stick with the diet better. Overall, for most people, that is a bit better. But if you really don't care about taste, Myprotein, you can use it like a wrap. Protein gusto, a bit dry, but the chocolate flavor is quite delicious. And of course, if you have the most food intolerances, the most common being wheat allergies, then Protein Gusto is the way to go because it is rice-based. Okay, the flour portion. So that's my thoughts on the 4 different protein pancakes. I will probably be making my own a lot more because I don't see why you should spend money or time shipping and all that and hassle on something where this is almost as good as this and only different from the top 2 protein ones by a little bit. Okay, I'm here with my son Gabriel and he's gonna try the pancakes and tell you what he thinks. Okay, first one, take a small piece, this one, small piece on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? 10 is super awesome, 1 is like yucky, never eat again. Okay?
I think it's 5.
Okay, 5. 5 for Protein Gusto. Now, this one has no flavor, okay Gabriel? So you can't say chocolate or not chocolate, but the softness or the texture of it. Okay, the texture and the moistness and the softness.
I think it's 3.
3? Okay, 3 for Birch Blenders. Okay, Daddy actually liked this one a bit more. This one, how about this? Okay. This one is 5, 3, 5, 3. How about this one?
I think
Better than 5 or not as good as 5?
8.
8! This is the homemade one! The one that we made ourselves from our own cheap flour and regular protein powder. Now this one is the final one. Okay, Gabriel, put in the mouth. What do you think of this? Less than 5, is it? Moist, dry, okay, the texture, what do you
I
think?
think more than 5.
More than 5, you like this the most?
No.
Which one do you like the most? This one! Alright, so this is Daddy's homemade pancake! Better than all in the shop. High five, Daddy. Alright. So it looks like the judgment is pretty solid that the homemade pancake is pretty nice. Better than the stuff you buy in the store and not far off in terms of nutrition content and calorie content. They're pretty much the same. So definitely for my family and myself, more homemade pancakes with protein powder coming up. Hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe and like my channel so I can continue to make great content for you.